It's like a cave. It's the same temperature year round, which is nice in the summer.
Yes.
And seek refuge down here.
Same for mine.
All right, welcome to Retro Bar Podcast. I think it's number 41. And we're back in the Retro Bar today. And we have Ross Harter. He's got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to talk about a lot of different stuff. But we'll start out with...
well, we're back in the bar room here.
Yeah, that's...
Retro Bar.
Our new sign hanging right on front of the bar there.
It's a nice sign.
I'm not even sure. We might only did one or two with that hanging here.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we're back to home base.
Yep. So anyway, we got Ross. His main career is financial advisor.
Yep.
And beyond that, we'll talk about a bunch of stuff. So anyway, we'll start out. We'll let him introduce himself. Tell about what he does now, and then we'll touch on where he grew up. And
yeah.
Take it.
So, Ross Harter. Grew up in Berks County. Went to college out in Clarion, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
And then moved down to Virginia because to start my career, I was trying to be a high school math teacher. So, and can't get a job at PA without experience, so I went to Virginia.
Okay.
And then when my parents bought the business in Ephrata, the brewery and bed and breakfast, I was like, that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to retire in Virginia.
Right.
So that's when I came back to Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. Finished out my teaching career with about 6 more years, and now I'm a financial advisor.
Okay.
You went to Conrad Weiser.
I did.
Yeah.
Yep. Conrad Weiser High School.
Yep.
Yeah. And brothers and sisters and
2 brothers, one older, one younger. Yeah.
And so you went to Clarion for teaching.
And Mom was a teacher.
She was. That's kind of why I leaned into the teaching gig. Because I always liked math.
Okay.
And, in high school when you shadow people to see what kind of careers you want to do.
Right.
I shadowed a whole bunch of people that did math. So I shadowed an actuary, I shadowed an accountant, and I actually shadowed a financial advisor.
Oh, okay.
And all 3 of them seemed very boring.
Yeah, I have to say that. Maybe so.
Wow. So as we go on, you're going to have to explain the difference between them.
Yeah.
Because that's a load full right there. That's a lot of information in there.
Yeah. So I shadowed each one of them. They seemed boring as all get out, so I leaned into teaching because I had the energy for it. And teaching was a great time because if you know how to deal with kids a little bit, they make the day a little bit more enjoyable.
Oh yeah,
it's like
or less enjoyable.
Yeah. Well, towards the end of my teaching career, they started making it less enjoyable.
Okay.
So,
when did you wrap that up? What year was
2019.
19.
Yeah.
Okay.
So literally a couple months right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Yeah. Had I known there was going to be a pandemic, I probably would have hung on because it would have been nice to have that consistent paycheck. But
yeah. Right.
Well,
that's just life.
Yeah. And that was
from what I had
world. And,
yeah.
But on the other hand, from what I've heard of teachers during that, the way they had to handle things, it wasn't fun.
No, they were having a tough go.
Yeah. So I mean, it would have pros and cons to that whole thing.
Yeah. Ups and downs. But so when I gave up teaching, I didn't go back after Christmas break. Christmas break happened. I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. Because I just got to the point where I was, I got to school after summer break, and then I was teaching a week. I was like, oh man, when's the next break?
Yeah.
And I would get to that break, enjoy myself, then get back to school. I was like, all right, when's the next break?
I get it.
So you can't really keep that going for 30 more years.
Yeah, right.
No, right. No. If you're looking ahead to every break and you got 30 years to go, it's a long haul.
And the kids saw right through that. So once I was not in it 100%, the kids started to take a turn for the worse.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily their fault. It was more my fault because I wasn't putting.
Oh, right. Yeah, I taught 3 years of tech, and I'm glad I did it to see what it was like. But I wasn't.
You got to be in it.
Yeah. That's it.
So when I left teaching, I became a bartender because honestly, you can make roughly what you make as a teacher as a decent.
Where'd you
bartender.
tend? I mean, not just at Black Forest.
No, I did Black Forest when I was still teaching.
Okay.
Just because it was nice side money. And I was bartending at Anthony's Coal Fire Pizza
Okay.
over in Wyomissing.
Okay.
It was a nice small little bar.
Right.
Great pizzas, good cocktails,
Mm-hmm.
and so that was
So you sort of learned on the job.
Yeah.
Cocktail wise.
Yeah. I made myself flashcards and all that stuff.
All right.
So I learned pretty quick, but I was doing that until March, and then the pandemic hit, and everything shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, my bar manager told me, he's like, hey, we're gonna take 2 weeks off for
Yeah, that's what
that's
they told everybody.
and then we'll be back in action in late March. I was like, all right, that's fine. I can budget for this month, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And it just never opened up.
Yeah.
So
Now, do you think if COVID would have never shut anything down, would you still be bartending?
Probably not, because when I was bartending, I was studying different areas of math to figure out what I can use my math degree for.
Okay.
Because I didn't want I was okay with letting my teaching degree go to waste, but I really wanted my math degree to be used in some way.
Right. To get your money out.
Yeah, that was the fun part of college, like all the math courses.
Okay.
Like the teaching courses, they were pretty easy. So
Right.
if you failed a teaching course in college, you either weren't paying attention or just actively not doing the work.
Right.
But the math stuff, that's what was the challenging, and it was the math part was a lot of fun.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I'm using that. So when I was bartending, I was studying actuary textbooks, and yeah, that's pretty much what I was studying, because I was leaning into being an actuary.
Okay.
But I learned that being an actuary is basically you're sitting in a cubicle the whole time and crunching numbers.
Yeah.
Which didn't seem fun to me, so I pivoted again. And when I was still bartending, New York Life, one of the firms I joined before my current job, they brought me on because they were able to train me for the security licenses I needed to get.
Okay.
So I was able to work for New York Life while studying for the exams, which was really nice.
Okay. Yeah, that's... Now, just jumping back, in high school, college, extracurricular activities at all? Or
High school, not really. I was a average Joe. I didn't shine very well in high school.
But I know you're involved with rugby now.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you played football in high school or the rugby came. Where did the rugby come from?
That's a good question. So in high school, I was much shorter and much pudgier. I was definitely not an athlete in any way, shape, or form. I think I was the only guy in the history of Weiser to get cut from the JV baseball team. Yeah. They're not supposed to make cuts. They do ones for everybody, but not me. They're like, you can't stay, buddy. So yeah, high school, not many extracurriculars, not many athletics. College is kind of where I tried to reinvent myself a little bit.
Okay.
So I joined a fraternity in college, became more social, started working out later in college, and when I graduated and moved to Virginia, had a first big boy check. That's when I started working out seriously, and I accidentally got signed up for a half marathon down there.
Okay.
Yeah, because I was a new teacher there. I was trying to make friends with all the other teachers.
Yeah.
So we were eating lunch one day, and the department head busted in the room. He's like, "Hey, we're doing a half marathon." I was like, "No, I'm not."
You might be.
Yeah, I'll watch it, but I ain't doing it. And she said, "Come on." I was like, "Okay, fine, let's do it." So not much of a runner. So I had to train for the half marathon myself,
And how much leeway did she give you on that half marathon? Like, did you have half a year? Or?
I trained for probably 9 months.
Oh, okay. All right. So it wasn't like, hey, in 3 weeks.
No, God, no. I would have. I think my lower half would have fell. But that was fun because I learned how to run, which in high school I wasn't an athlete, so I didn't really run.
Right.
In college I wasn't athletic either, so I was more in the 12-ounce curls.
Yeah. Working your way up to 16.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Sometimes they were taped to your hands. But training for half marathon was fun because it taught me that I can do really hard things.
Right.
With
and
slow, methodical steps towards the goal.
Yeah.
I forget where I was going with that.
The rugby.
Oh yeah. So when I got to Pennsylvania, I was lifting more than I've ever had in my life. You know, and I was putting up some a little bit of like silly weight. Like you don't need to lift that much weight. So I said like there need to be something different. I'm not going to just keep lifting all the weights in the gym. It's ridiculous. And like getting all the weights and putting them on the bar was taking up too much of my day.
That's part of it too. Yeah.
So one of my buddies who was teaching there said that he used to play rugby, and like that'd be a good outlet to do something because it's physical, it's hard, you run, you need to be strong.
Yeah.
And I was like, there's no rugby teams in the U.S. You know how does this happen? And he said there's rugby clubs everywhere. So I just Googled rugby team near me, and then Reading Rugby showed up, and I showed up to practice one day, and I was like, you guys need any players? And they're like, we always need players. I was like, never touched a ball before in my life. You need to teach me. And they're like, we'll teach you.
Yeah.
So I just showed up one day, and they taught me.
I mean, I never played rugby. I played football and sandlot football and all that. But when I remember when my kid was on track in high school, and I'd go pick him up after practice or whatever, there was at Warwick, I guess, some sort of club team of rugby. And I would sit there and watch while I'm waiting on him. I thought, that looks like a fun... It reminded me of a game we used to play in the neighborhood with football, and we just called it kill. And you threw the ball to somebody, and everybody else tried to tackle.
Okay, yeah.
And when they threw the ball. You know, it sort of reminded me of that.
It's organized chaos.
Yeah. No, but it looks like a tough sport. I mean, it
was
really
tough.
does.
It was a lot of fun, though. A lot of fun. And, being a part of a team is always...
Yeah. And what did you have to... I mean, you got Reading Rugby, but, like, to play games was... I think Lancaster has a club.
Lancaster has a club,
but, like, you had to travel around pretty much, because Reading didn't have 12 rugby clubs.
No.
So,
so they break the teams into divisions. There's D1, D2, D3. Reading was D3 at the time. And we traveled all over Pennsylvania, some Virginia.
Wow.
A couple of states, but not too often, but mostly Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
So the farthest we traveled was like 2.5 hours. So.
But I figured there's not a prevalence of teams in a small little area.
Yeah, not really.
Yeah. Are you still doing it?
Not playing anymore.
Okay.
Because 2 seasons ago, I destroyed this shoulder with a bunch of nerve damage, and destroyed this shoulder with an AC joint, so both my shoulders are kind of gone from contact.
Welcome to the club.
So now I'm helping out with the youth programs, just helping coach.
So they actually now have youth rugby. Well,
Berks Rugby is nationally ranked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like at what age? Is that like
so they
10-year-olds or 16-year-olds?
For Berks Rugby, they have an under 23 squad. They have a high school squad, a juniors, and younger than juniors.
Okay.
Yeah.
And fair amount of interest?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of kids are liking to learn.
Yeah.
Parents are pulling their kids from football because football's more dangerous. No,
Which really, I mean, honestly, I look at rugby and I think it's, you're basically playing football without the equipment. So
that's the way we explain to people who are new to the sport.
Well, right. But so how do they feel football with a helmet and everything is more dangerous than
Because, if you put a whole bunch of padding on yourself,
you feel
you're more reckless.
Well, that is true. I always, when we played sandlot football, we played tackle, but you never really risked your head. You know what I mean? You don't tackle with your head in sandlot football.
Exactly. When you're sandlot football, you don't dive head first.
Right.
Face down. You
right.
No, that's that head up and shoulders down.
Right. Yeah. So I get that.
Yeah. There's actually more concussions in soccer than there are in rugby.
Well, and that's I always heard. Now I'm not a big soccer fan. If it wouldn't have been for Eric and them having it on at Black Forest, to this day, I still would have never watched a soccer game. But I got to admit, I mean, it's a lot of running.
Yeah.
But I don't quite get, like, them guys get run into, and then they're like floppers. Like, they lay there.
Yeah.
That's not everyone. And you, as a rugby guy, can sort of appreciate
everyone.
That.
My boys did soccer, and it was fun to watch. It was fun to watch and how they strategically moved that ball up and down.
No,
it is a lot of running. There's no doubt.
Oh yeah,
but, the
way more running than I could
do that. And that was really cool to see. Specifically Tim, one of my boys would take that ball up the side every time.
Right.
He would know exactly where to take it up. He wouldn't take it up the middle. He'd take it up the side, and then kick it to one of his brothers. And his brother, it just it was fun to
No,
watch.
they're
Fun to watch. But you're right. There was some injuries there. Like they not paying attention and bam, and they hit without any.
Oh yeah, they're not looking. They just smack each other.
Right. There's no protection there.
Yeah.
And
when you start to see the strategy that the players use in soccer, it's actually pretty cool.
yeah.
Which I never watched enough to understand.
No, we never had soccer when I was in high school, and even if we would, I wouldn't have probably chose that as a sport. But we didn't even play it in gym class, so I knew no rules. No, I just never really cared about it.
Right,
never watched it. But
yeah.
Yeah, so now you are helping the younger kids. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's
Keeps me involved in the game, and and keeps me busy.
Yeah, and you're still living in like Berks County area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I live in Shillington. When I'm not coaching rugby, studying jiu-jitsu and doing volunteer work.
That's neat.
Stuff.
Yeah. How far into that are you?
About 2.5 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Got my blue belt in January. So.
Okay.
Where's like between white and black, blue?
There's
right
white,
in the middle.
blue, purple, brown, black.
All right. And to advance, I mean, I know there's different martial arts and different ways of advancing. Like for you to move up in a belt, do you have to spar somebody, or you just show other?
Yeah, you need to show that you're ready to be promoted.
Okay.
Right.
So
the more you practice, the more you train, the quicker you'll go up. But they don't have like a certain at least the gym I go to, they don't have boxes that you need to check to get to the next level. You have to kind of show that you're ready to move. So when I was white belt and moving up to blue belt, I stayed a white belt for I think like 1.5 years.
Okay.
And when I got promoted, they promoted me, in my mind, I think, because I was able to not get choked out every time.
Okay.
So when I was rolling against like higher belts, like a blue belt or a purple belt, when I first started, I would get choked out maybe 3 or 4 times within 6 minutes.
Okay.
They were just having their way with me.
Right.
They're like, there's nothing I can do.
Right.
But the more I did it, the better my defense came, and soon enough, I was making the whole 6-minute rounds without getting choked or tapped out.
Okay.
And started actually do some offensive moves and have good defense. So yeah.
Okay. No, that's another thing that I look back and wished I would have maybe got involved with.
There's still time.
Oh, jeez, no, there's no time left in this guy. I don't know that you can win a match if you can't lift your arms over your head. I'd have to rely on some other stragy.
Well, you got your
cat finger. Your cat finger's good, right?
All right. Now with that, and jiu-jitsu as compared to taekwondo, I mean, what are there really any big differences? Or
I'm not sure about what taekwondo is, but I think taekwondo is more contact, more like striking, that kind of stuff. I think.
Now is jiu-jitsu more countering somebody else's moves?
Jiu-jitsu is more like grappling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so easy way to think about it is it's like wrestling, but you can armbar people and choke people and yeah. Right. So more submissions in jiu-jitsu than wrestling.
And obviously, probably much like wrestling, strength is a help, but technique is way more important.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It took me a while to learn that because when I first started, I tried to use my strength to overcome my lack of technique.
Right, and it
exhausted me, man.
Right, yeah. No, that's
when you're trying to like overpower someone for 6 minutes straight,
and if they know what they're doing.
Exactly.
They'll let you do that. Yeah.
They'll let you hurt yourself out.
Yeah.
That's what they did every time. Yeah. They said, like, I'm going to let him think he's doing well.
Yeah.
And then after a couple minutes of him being exhausted, I'm just going to pounce and...
Yeah.
No,
it's almost like school.
Yeah.
When you get flip out, leave them flip out, leave them do their thing, keep them safe, let them burn themselves out to the point where now you can talk.
Exactly right. Yeah. Yeah, so once I learned that you don't want to try and use your strength as much as you can, it became a lot easier.
Yeah, it's technique.
Yeah, just relax, take a couple breaths. They might have you in a chokehold, but just like breathe it out and wait and see if there's an exit.
So, I forgot what I was going to ask. you break boards?
No.
Great
Yeah, that's one of the reasons I chose jiu-jitsu, because the thing I liked about rugby was like it was really hard and it was aggressive and you had the camaraderie.
Right. Yeah.
So I wanted to do something that had those things, but I also didn't want any more concussions.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I didn't want my shoulders to break open
Right.
anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, jiu-jitsu, there's no striking, so there's no like
No
punches, no
okay.
elbows, no
All
knees,
right.
that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah. So the main thing I risk is my ligaments,
Yeah.
which if you tap early and tap often.
Yeah. 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 Well, yeah. Don't
Yeah.
don't
Yeah.
feel you're wimping out.
Yeah. If they catch me, I'm gonna tap. Like you win.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
fine.
Yeah, yeah. And I learned.
Yeah.
I learned a little bit.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Now, like, did you ever, just for the fun of it, go up against a black belt?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So during class, they usually do like an hour of instruction and technique. Like, so you'll practice a couple moves and they'll build on each other. Then the last 20 minutes to half an hour is live rolling or
Okay.
sparring. So like I'll roll with a white belt, a blue belt, brown, purple, black belts. Yeah.
Now, do you notice, like, while you're doing that, do you notice a distinct difference between doing that with a black belt as opposed to a blue belt?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just a fine line. It's
It's a pretty thick line. The black belts, they're just, even the brown belts and purple, they just make it look so easy.
Okay.
It's effortless. You know, they're like a duck on water.
All right.
They're just waiting for you to make a mistake, and when you do make the mistake, they'll just pounce on it.
Okay.
So like a blue belt, you're rolling with a brown belt, right? And the blue belt is exhausted, like breathing heavily, really trying his best, and the brown belt is just chilling,
Yeah.
just hanging out and ready to choke you out.
Yeah.
No, I always was intrigued by martial arts, but I never really took any lessons. But
Yeah.
I remember that, and what really intrigued me when I was going to college at Perks campus, I used to work. When I wasn't at college, I commuted and I worked at Sunline Camper Company, and there was a handful of Vietnamese people that worked there, and there was this one older guy, little skinny old guy, and very quiet guy, but I used to work in his, like, it was an assembly line, and every now and then I'd be at the station with this guy, and we chit-chat, and he wasn't very talkative, but a lot of the younger Vietnamese there, they all thought they were Bruce Lee. You know, and I pretty much assured that not even all of them ever took one martial arts lesson,
Right.
but they thought they knew it. So I asked this guy about it, and he actually was in Vietnam in the war.
Oh wow!
I'm assuming with South Vietnam, but I couldn't even say that.
Didn't ask.
So we got, I said, do you know any martial arts? And
Yeah.
he said, yeah, I do. He said, as a matter of fact, I could, not just me, but I could kill whoever I wanted to with one hand.
Jeez.
And I believed the guy.
Yeah.
Like I don't
didn't
think
wanna
he had
put him
any
to the test.
reason. Yeah. Like he had no reason to tell me that. He had no reason to, because he wasn't. He didn't try and show it off or anything.
Right.
But I really believe he could have.
I mean, those kind of people, like, they don't need to show it off.
No.
Yeah.
And, and it wasn't his, but he did inform me of that just because I asked the question.
They're usually the nicest people.
Oh, he was. He was
You know?
a really, really nice guy.
Like
Like I say, he hardly spoke, but
Yeah.
but
Like, the better they become at some martial art or wrestling, jiu-jitsu,
Right.
taekwondo, whatever, it's just like the nicer they become.
Yeah. Now, can we fast forward?
oh yeah,
to,
we can go wherever you want.
to, like, so
Oh.
you're done with the pizza shop.
Yep.
It shut, maybe, COVID shut that, and so you're going for your career in the financial world.
Yep.
So how does that look? What's that? How did you get into that? I mean, you love math, obviously. You
Love math.
and that's
One of my favorite courses to teach back when I was still teaching was financial literacy, because that was the stuff that the kids, like, they lapped it up.
Mhm.
They loved that stuff because it was math that was actually being used.
Okay, yeah,
You know,
as
so, like, we
opposed to calculus.
Right.
That's
The kids, they don't need to know the quadratic formula
Right.
in everyday life.
right.
Budgeting is
Yeah.
a great tool for kids, and just understanding credit and loans, that kind of stuff. So when I did the financial literacy stuff in the classroom, the kids loved it. It was my favorite lessons. So like maybe there's something to this. So I leaned into the financial advising role.
Okay.
So I had to get licensed up because, I didn't go to school for finance. So I need to get the licenses on my own.
Right.
And that to get all licensed up, probably took me 3 years.
Mm.
Yeah.
Now, I forgot what I was going to ask.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing up until then? Are you working in the industry?
Yeah, so I started as a life insurance agent
Okay.
because you can. So once I got my health and life insurance license, I was able to sell that stuff.
Okay.
And when you sell that stuff, you're making your commission, you're making income, and while you're doing that, I'm studying for the other licenses.
Okay.
So as the more licenses I get, the more stuff I can provide the clients, and slowly but surely, I become like a full-blown finance guy.
Yeah.
So I started with the life insurance, which I didn't love, just because when the only tool you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail.
Yeah.
So once I got the life license, I studied for the SIE, the Securities Industry Essentials exam, which opened the door to a whole bunch of stuff I can do, mutual funds, other equity products, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. That's so the only experience that I've had, or to get into the financial business end of the world was I had a case where there was money being taken from the books of a company. Okay, and so I had to do a forensic analysis of their business.
Right.
Okay, as a street cop. Because back then we didn't really have the facility or the manpower to have just turned it over to the detective division.
Right.
It was yours. You ran with it. You got the case. You ran with it. So
that was my accounting.
I did a little bit of that where you go through like, well, this doesn't match, and this doesn't match,
right.
and this doesn't
this
match.
column doesn't equal this column.
Right. Yeah. At the end of that, like, yeah, this isn't for me. I don't really like this.
Actually, I used to love accounting in high school. We would get these work packets, like pretend businesses.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
And, man, I would fly through them. I would be done with them. Like, I really actually enjoyed doing that. Yeah.
I like that, too. It's like same thing as you. I had the packets in high school, and I would rip through it, and then I'll help my classmates.
That was one of my favorite classes.
And I've had two businesses where that has definitely come into play where I understand how all that works. But it's not something that I definitely would have wanted to continue with because
you're able to do it, but you don't want to have to do it all.
Right, I know what it takes, and glad to pass it on to somebody who really enjoys that.
Yeah, even though I very much enjoyed it in them pretend packets, when we get our taxes done, we take them to an accountant. Because I don't feel like sitting down and trying to. You got to be. Right. I mean, in today's world, if you have a couple businesses and this and that going on, I don't want to have to keep up with all the laws.
And it changes.
It does.
Well, every 6 months it seems like it changes.
Yep.
So that is just a whole nother realm of trying to keep up with all the. Because if you're not, then the client that you have is losing out.
Right.
Yeah.
So
it's just constant, just keeping up with new information.
Yeah, that's.
Now you taught at RAC for a while too.
I did, RAC and Alvernia.
What course? Math related?
Math, yeah, but usually they had me teach stats, statistics, and probability.
Okay.
Yeah, because I liked that course. I thought it was interesting. So no one else really liked to teach it. So they kept giving it to me. I was like, that's fine. I like it.
Yeah.
So now this is who you work for. Can you say who you work for?
Yeah,
or you work
First Trust Financial Resources.
Okay.
Yeah.
So financial advisor means what exactly?
So I help people plan for their retirement or other big purchases. I focus mainly on retirement. So a lot of people are investing on their own because there's a whole bunch of information out there.
Right.
So I help people I just help them direct it in the correct direction.
Right. Okay. So you're like the retail and not the commercial side.
Right.
You're not doing businesses so much as you're doing individual people and
I do help some businesses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the thing that happens with businesses, they hire these firms to handle their 401k.
Yeah.
And they pay that firm some expenses, but they also pay a advisor fee. So that advisor is supposed to go to these companies and meet with the employees at least once a year, and give each employee a little bit of guidance on
where
what
they're at,
what they're doing with their 401k, if they can retire on time,
Yeah.
if they can't retire on time, how much more do they need to put in, or how much longer do they need to work.
Right.
And what happens is sometimes advisors take on too many clients, and they just can't keep track of everyone. And a lot of times I meet with a lot of my clients that are saying, I haven't met with my 401k rep in years.
That seems to be the norm.
And a lot of things change in years.
Yeah.
Just 4 years ago, I was a high school math teacher.
Right. Yeah.
Things change pretty quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
So the thing that I've been trying to do recently is go into these businesses and
talk to the employees.
And give them an actual plan for their retirement instead of just crossing your fingers and hoping you make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, are you able to, like, you couldn't go to Wall Street and be a stockbroker with your license, or you could if you wanted. Well, okay.
Yep.
Does that ever interest you, that kind of thing?
Not really, because
Do you
I like the human interaction with people.
But do you on your own dabble with like E-Trade or whatever? I mean, there's all these online
I'm more of a long-term approach guy.
Okay.
So I'm not the buy and sell within a week
So
kind of
you're not
person.
like a day trader kind
Not
of
really.
Yeah.
When I was studying, it was interesting because I was seeing all these scenarios and whatnot. But now I'm just I'm very much long-term.
Well, and I think part of it that I did like on the accounting part of the world was really cool to see what the country has been through in the last 100 years and see the trends and see like, well, this happened before. I mean, it's whatever's happening now.
Before.
Yeah, right. It's like you look at it now and they talk about it on the news and this is what's going on and it's almost talked about like this is the first time this has happened.
Right.
It's like, oh, wait a minute, this happened, 15 years ago.
It almost seems to be in like 15, 20-year cycles.
Right.
The numbers might have been different, but the idea was the same of what actually happened.
Yeah.
2008 when the crash happened.
Yeah.
You learned a lot from that, but that crash wasn't the first time that's happened.
Right.
And
it won't be the last.
No. Right.
It might be a different cause and it might be a different scenario, but it's going to happen in
a different way. So look what happened in 2008 was, or before that, houses became very, very expensive because banks were just throwing money out, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone could buy a house.
Right.
Yeah.
So the prices got, really high and then everything crashed. And look at what happened 3 years ago. Well, not exactly the same. The banks weren't giving out tons of money, but the houses did rise to just ridiculous amounts.
Right.
And you knew that at some point that was going to come back down again. And how?
Right.
That's the question, is how. And what does history show that how that was going to crash?
Because no one has a crystal ball.
No.
So the houses rose because like the supply chain issues.
Yeah.
Who knows if that's going to be fixed or when it's going to be fixed or how it's going to be fixed.
Yeah.
Right. And because there was, you had COVID, so you had a whole bunch of building supplies that weren't able to be kicked out. So the building industry really took a real slow.
Yep.
So there wasn't as many houses, new ones being built, so that probably had an impact on it.
Definitely. Yeah, because now like people who want to buy, there's just nothing to buy.
Yeah. So how much do you look at the history of that? Like that's
all
kind of cool. Like, okay, this is where we're at, and this is where do you see me in 10 years or
So I also like to play with numbers.
Yeah.
So like I actually have a spreadsheet at home. It has all the returns of the S&P 500 over the last like 50 years. So I just like to look at them and see what's going on. Like what happens if you put this much in and let it ride, and what happens if you put this much in and continue to contribute.
Yeah.
Take money out, put money back in. Just see the ebbs and flows of the market and everything. Yeah.
And have you learned a lot from? I would imagine you did.
Yeah, I mean it helps when I meet with clients because they see the news, but that's all they see. They don't do the research that I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps calm them down. Like,
listen,
it's going to go down, but just keep the money there, let it ride, and it will come back. And if it doesn't come back, then everyone's in the same boat
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
right.
Well, so it doesn't matter
yeah.
if you lost your money because
Yeah.
everyone lost their money.
Right. Yeah. Some more than others, depending when you
Yeah.
bought in. But yeah.
Yeah, if it's a zombie apocalypse, then we're all dealing with zombies.
Yes, and then your money, and then your money ain't gonna matter anyway.
Yeah.
And your
right.
skills are gonna come into play.
Yeah.
It's all coming back. It's
Mhm.
all it's not going away.
Right.
I mean, all as much as the news might say, that this is a horrible thing and everything's going to blow
Well,
up. It's not. Things are going to move on. Tomorrow you're going to wake up
Yeah.
and it's going to go.
Right. And that's the problem with the media, not just with money, but with everything. There's freaking smoke. Okay, well, yeah, it was a little smoky out.
Yep.
But I breathed in way more smoke in bars in the old years than I ever breathed in over the last week outside.
Yeah. I'm just going to stay inside for a little bit.
Yeah. It smelled like, to me, it just reminded me, and I'm not a campground guy, but it smelled to me like, okay, you're in a campground and a bunch of people have fires burning, and that's what it smelled like.
It was a little damp house in the
Yeah. But they blow everything like it's everything is doomsday.
Right.
And
I guess the people that were most worried were the people who were retiring in the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, that always becomes, I mean, the closer you are to where you're going to depend on that money, the more it starts to mean to you.
Right.
When you're 25 and you have,
Exactly. But that's why you meet with a professional so you can get your ducks in a row so that when things happen like this, you're not taken by surprise and you're actually prepared for it.
Yeah.
It's like there's ways to make money in down markets.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
thing.
if you're somebody that knows what they're doing.
Yeah.
So
out of my 3 kids, and I don't know about the other 2, but the one, he has no problem telling me exactly what's going on with his money, and he's got a financial advisor that he meets with him regularly at age 25.
Good.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow. At 25, I was just looking for tail.
Yeah. 25, if I had $1 left in my wallet right before my next paycheck.
All right. Good. I did it.
No way I was thinking of that at his age. Good for him, you know.
No, it is a very
Do
smart
you
thing.
have a
But
lot of younger?
I try to, yeah. They don't tend to want to meet as often because they think that you need a certain amount of money to talk to a financial advisor, which just isn't the case, Some advisors have like an account minimum that you need to have. I personally don't, just because I like giving the information. I like teaching.
Okay, yeah. So we're now you're in the position you're in with the company you're at.
Yep.
Long-term career goal, would you like to have your own business doing that at some point rather than working for somebody else? Or
I mean, that's the thing about financial advising. You pretty much work for yourself.
Okay.
I set my own schedule. I find my own clients.
Yeah.
So you get basically you're paid what, a salary and commission, just commission, or you're straight salary and no commission?
It varies.
Okay.
So with the licenses I have, I can have assets under management. So the more assets that I physically manage, that I can take a percentage of those assets, and that counts as my salary.
Okay.
So the larger my book of business becomes, the larger my salary becomes. And then there's also the commissions. Like if they get a product, I'll get paid a commission on that.
Okay.
So long term, I'm going to be a financial advisor for as long as people let me.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm going to study for my CFP just to add some validity. It's not going to let me do more things. It's just going to make me more knowledgeable.
Yeah,
And that's
good.
what, certified
Financial planner.
Oh, yeah. I figured that out on my
Yeah, that's got to be, in your world, exciting. Not that COVID was exciting, but when that began and everything dropped as far as prices go in the financial world, you think, wow, okay, this, that, this particular stock is going to go back up. It tanked right now because of the way things are, but it's going to go back up, because it's a good, strong company. And I think that part would be kind of exciting that to watch, it's going back.
Yeah, the unknown is definitely the fun part. People have been trying to time the market and predict what's going to happen many times. And it's just virtually impossible to predict what's going to happen. So the guessing is fun. It's very interesting.
Yeah. See, I don't take nearly the risks that he does. I am so conservative. he does like crypto stuff.
Well, but
Okay.
that wasn't
I
I didn't invest $1 million. I took a couple grand. And
Yeah,
bought
see, that's
Shiba
more than I
Inu.
would have put.
Nice.
And you know, right now, all cryptocurrency has sort of went down and sort of hovering around for
They're
a
calling
while
it
now.
crypto winter.
But
That's
but,
right.
They're calling
Okay.
it.
but I got that. Like I currently own 377 million Shiba coin
Nice.
for a couple grand.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to let them sit there. And at one point, Bitcoin was at the price, and then it is where it is. And that may or may not happen, but if that only goes to a tenth of a cent, I'm a millionaire.
Right.
And for investing a couple grand,
And if it doesn't, you just lost a couple grand.
Right. Much like, and I'm not really a casino gambler guy, but I look at it as like that. Like,
Right.
okay, I got a couple grand. I'm gonna go lay it on black or red or whatever. And
My clients ask me about crypto, and what I told them is I don't understand crypto enough to give you advice on it.
Yeah, that's
I'll say
kinda-
that
yeah.
I just so the advice I gave them was keep it 1% of your portfolio.
well, right.
That way,
I
if
didn't.
it goes
I-
up, you get to be a millionaire.
I don't
but
have
if
to.
it goes down, you're
like,
not.
it's not
you're
like
not.
okay, if this don't go up in the next week, I'm not going to be able to eat. You know,
Right.
that's-
Don't put your mortgage payment
But
down.
right,
now.
but
Yeah.
but I had I thought, okay, well, I got a couple grand. You know, I'm either going to piss it away on something, or
Right.
I'll buy that and let it sit there and see where it goes.
Pandemic, no one's doing
and-
anything anyway. So.
And I picked that over Bitcoin already when I got into it, basically because of Eric. But Bitcoin was already so high
yeah.
that I could only afford a small fraction of one Bitcoin.
Yep.
So how high was Bitcoin going to do to turn my little piece into a giant piece? Where I thought if I stick it in something that right now is 1/100,000th of a penny,
Mhm.
I could buy a shitload of it. And if it goes up to, gets rid of a couple zeros before it even gets to a penny, I quadrupled my money instead of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
For me, I can't. It seems like the tech industry, when that crashed,
Mhm.
like everything was tech, and then all of a sudden it just dumped and everything went to zero. I'm more stable company, Pepsi or something like that.
Well, and
Right.
that's, I will agree, that's
and it's more
100%
long. It's more
smarter.
long term.
And I
Yes,
I
that's the
have my
long-term approach, and
that's
retirement
more the
thing or
short-term.
whatever, but
Yeah.
this was just basically it's a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah,
and you
Fine.
could-
I mean, that's
and
what
you
my
could.
plan is. If
Right.
it
If you can get rich
Yeah.
quick, why not?
And the retro board might have its own building,
Well, right,
Get rich,
yeah.
you know?
I mean, well,
Look out, Joe Rogan.
or at least this building will be paid off anyway. That's I won't need a new building, but I can pay this one off if it.
Right.
Well, and you can hire staff. We can do that. Yeah, we're gonna.
I honestly never want. I would never want a business where I would have actual employees. I would, like, even with trivia, if I needed a regular host to do it when I'm doing it somewhere else, I would always go the route of, okay, you're a subcontractor.
Mhm.
I don't want to have to get involved, no matter what my business is. If I ever owned a machine shop, I always said I would own one if, not now anymore, but if I could buy a machine, put it in my garage, but I would never want to get bigger than just myself because
Right.
I don't want to deal with, because right now finding a decent employee is next to impossible.
It's complicated.
And then you get all that paperwork and then
I feel differently though. I mean, I get it. If that's what makes you happy and you don't want to have to deal with all that and you're good with that, that's great. But in my mind, if you're looking to make money,
you need employees.
you need employees because the employees are going to make you money. So, you're paying them, $20 an hour, but you're charging $30 an hour.
Right.
For whatever they're going to do. And obviously you're having to pay whatever you need to for having an employee. But you're still making money and you're not doing the work.
Right.
Right.
So if you're going to go and make money, I think it's
But I really, like the subcontracting is like with trivia. I got a guy that filled in the other Saturday night, so the place paid me my normal rate. I paid him a little less than that, so I made money. But he wasn't my employee.
Right.
He would be his own business working under my business. So you don't have all that employee kind of stuff. I mean, I as an employee, if I had to leave my job at Dentech, my part-time machinist job, and go work somewhere else part-time as a machinist, I would try my darndest to talk that new company into hiring me as a 1099 employee.
Right.
Because then I sort of you have a little bit more control over, okay, well, I'm going to work this day.
You have it. They don't have control.
Well, they don't, but
over
but in
Right.
today's
That's
world,
the key.
well, but in today's world, with the extreme lack of knowledge in that trade, places are way more willing to
Yeah.
say, okay.
And
30 years ago, there would have been nobody that would have ever thought about
and
that.
they're saving money too because they're not.
Well,
paying for
I have
benefits.
no benefits.
Right.
Yeah, which is
Workman's
very much like
comp,
I'm a employee at Dentech, but I'm part time. So really, the only benefit when I went into it 12 years ago, I said, all I want is a good hourly wage and the freedom to come and go when I feel like it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need paid holidays. I don't need vacation time because I can come and go when I want. And they agreed to it, and that's how it's been ever since.
That's
Yeah.
good. I mean, but it's not them just paying you the part-time wage, though. I mean, they have to pay.
No,
have to pay benefits.
I make very good hourly money.
Mm-hmm.
But they're making even more. They have
Right,
to,
because they're not paying me
they gotta pay
insurance.
workman's comp.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't have to pay insurance or anything like that. but
They would
do
have the comp. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
get hurt or something like
Yeah.
that. That's not cheap. No, it depends on what business it is too.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would imagine you're one of the medium risk. You could cut the finger up.
Well, I
pretty
could. I mean, I made it 40 years doing it without.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah,
You could.
probably
You could.
medium
Yeah.
risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, way back when I was in concrete, and concrete was one of them high risk. You could get injured pretty easy with concrete.
Yeah. Well,
And
just lifting heavy.
workman's comp was
An
Neat.
expensive
$8,000 a
part of
quarter for the employees that I had, and that was a lot of money back then. And
That's a lot of money now too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
oh, that's fun.
Yes.
That's
So you're also, I guess I would call you an investor. You're part of the movie theater.
Yeah.
That's,
Yep.
Is that the only thing you're involved in, or?
Financially involved in, yes. Yeah. I mean, I have my own retirement accounts, but that's the only business that I invest in.
Okay.
You know. Yeah, so that's something different. You know, asked me 10 years ago if I would have been investing in a movie theater with my family, I would have said, hell no. Get out of here.
But you got no money in the bed and breakfast or anything.
No.
That's
No.
okay. I mean, not that.
Yeah, I just show up there for quality control.
Okay.
Make sure they're doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Do you? Well, that's. I mean, have you helped brew beer? Do you know how to brew beer?
Dad tried to teach me, and I learned a little bit, but it just
It
wasn't.
wasn't something you had much interest in at all.
Not much of a passion for it
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
You know, I understood the process and the recipes and whatnot. It's just I didn't find it as fun as he did. So
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Right, yeah.
You know.
As he probably doesn't find math as fun as you do.
Yeah. That's,
you know, but when he
Yeah.
wanted to find out the volume of the tank without measuring, I was like, I was his guy.
There you go.
You know?
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
Yeah.
Well, and actually, we interviewed the guys that own Rural City,
Okay.
and talking to them about their brewing. There's a lot more science to that than you would imagine.
Oh, yeah.
There is. Like, it's not just dump a bunch of crap in a tank and wait. I mean,
No.
there's a lot of stuff to know.
Yeah.
That's,
And it comes to the point, it's like that, but there's a lot of mental groundwork that you had to do to get it done,
Mhm.
get the recipes just right and whatnot.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, the movie theater, that's fun.
Yeah.
And
Something
I
different.
love like the history of Ephrata and having that, and you guys keeping that alive right now.
Yep.
It's not easy.
You just
in
got to
the
find
days.
something that'll draw freaking people. And I keep every day I think about what the frick could I do.
And I love movies and I love popcorn, so got both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And since you're part owner, you don't even have to pay to go.
It's a
see
real
it.
problem. I mean, I've been behaving recently because I haven't really been going to the movies much, but
Yeah.
in the fall and winter, that's going to be a trouble time for me.
Yeah.
It's going to be in so much popcorn all the time.
I like popcorn, but I very, very rarely, it gets stuck in my gums and I hate that. So I give up. I mean, I like it, but I
Save
don't
those
like
for
it that,
later.
I don't like it enough to have to pick kernels out of my gums. So that's,
Good.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Let's see.
Passions and
hobbies.
Yeah, outside of jiu-jitsu and rugby, I volunteer a lot. I do a lot
Well,
of
that's
volunteer work.
very commendable.
Yeah,
With
'cause,
what kind of?
I work with the Blankets of Hope. That's an organization out of Berks County that provides bedding materials for underprivileged,
Okay.
whether that's like a marriage shelter or a halfway house, whatever. If they need a blanket and a bed, they help them out. So they contract with a bunch of mattress stores from around the area,
Oh, okay.
and they get the stuff out to the people. I think they do it a bunch over the East Coast.
Okay.
Yeah. So I help out with them a lot. In the fall, we do a chili sale.
Oh, okay.
So Redner's lets us use their kitchen that they use for like their entire chain.
Oh, okay.
So
Oh, okay.
we go in there,
Yeah.
make a couple tons of chili,
Yeah.
and sell it out and raise money for the Blankets folk. And then outside of that, I also help with the Veterans Coalition of Pennsylvania, which that's a bunch of businesses that kind of team up with each other to get essentials and necessities for the veterans who kind of are a little underprivileged, like lost
Right.
housing or
Yeah.
trouble in housing, that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So they meet the second Saturday and the fourth Saturday of every month. They set up just a trailer where veterans in the area can come get some essential foods, toiletries, shoes, clothes, undergarments, that kind of stuff.
You know, it's a shame veterans are
Yeah, it's a shame
in
that
that
they have to do that,
situation.
yeah.
You know?
I mean, they basically gave potentially their life
Yeah.
to their country, and now here they are,
Yeah.
scraping
Yeah.
for
Coming
essentials.
to a parking lot once a month
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
water,
I mean,
jelly,
that really shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
shouldn't, but
uh,
it is.
Well, and yeah,
So-
and it's
Yeah,
it's good.
still.
I mean, it's nice there are organizations that realize that and gear towards helping those people.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just could never figure out how you can give 4, 10, 12 years of your life, possibly in another country, get shot at, and then
Yeah.
you come back and you have nothing.
And you're told to figure it out.
Yeah, really, yeah. But it is, like you say, it is what it is, and
Yeah.
well, that's commendable of
Yeah.
your volunteer.
It's-
Well, it sounds like you got
it makes
a
it feel
full
good.
day, like every day of yours.
Every
You
day
got
I'm doing
something
something.
going on.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, because like it's one of those things where I always wanted to do. Like I said, the thing about teaching that really was enjoyable. It felt like I was making some sort of a difference.
Right.
You know, I thought I was a positive influence for the kids and whatnot. So when I left teaching, that kind of left a big gap.
Yeah.
I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm not doing much for the community now. I'm just working and making
Right.
my own bank account. So just setting aside 5 to 10 hours a week, just help out where you can.
Well, but even your job now, you're helping people.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
It's not like you say, you're not just in a cubicle working for a company doing monotonous things for that company. You're trying to guide whoever client you have.
Getting guidance and just information and help make people feel more comfortable. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's all down the same road, really.
Yeah.
It is, because that's huge. Retirement is huge. Like,
Yeah.
When you get to that point where you physically can't work.
Everybody stops working eventually.
Yeah.
You know,
you just
For,
can't.
for one reason or the other.
Yeah.
Some people like to work till death.
Right,
Some
yeah.
people want to
Like-
stop working. Some people want to slow down working.
Yeah.
But regardless, you're going to need something for when you either slow down or stop.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because at some point you just physically can't do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And money needs to come from somewhere.
Yeah, you got to still live.
Yeah.
And there's a scary stat out there. Like only about 30% of people actually have or talk to a financial advisor.
Yeah.
Which is the scary part.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially when the 401k reps aren't meeting with the employees, which that should be the person's financial advisor.
Yeah.
They should be getting that guidance.
Right. Do you find
Yeah.
more of your clients to be on the wealthy side, or is it people who are
For
not wealthy, just trying to figure things out, or very wealthy, not knowing what to do with all their money, kind of thing?
I'd say most of my clients are middle of the road, who
Okay.
make a decent living, don't have a lot of money, but they have
But-
some, and they want to
and they
direct
want
in the right places. I have a couple that are not so wealthy. They just want to
Try
make sure
and
they're making
figure
the
it
right
out a little
financial
bit.
decisions. They might not be saving a lot of money, but they want to make sure that they're. For those people, I do a lot of budget work.
Okay.
And budget's kind of a weird word because my definition of budgeting has changed. It's not like setting a certain number each month that you have to stick between. It's more just keeping track of what you're spending. So at the end of the month, you're able to say, well, I had $4,000, now it's gone.
Where did it go?
Where did it go? If you budget well, you'll know exactly where it went. You know,
And then you can,
so it's not
choose what you want to change.
Exactly.
If you want to change.
So like when I meet with people and I say, "What's your monthly expenses?" And if they can't tell me, that's the red flag.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's the thing. It's like, all right, well, we'll figure that out first.
Yeah.
and then we'll talk
All
about
right,
it.
I'm in that boat. Like if you said how much do I spend on a month,
Right.
I have no idea.
Well, you would know your big ticket items.
Right.
Well, to some
I mean,
rough degree, but
yeah.
I couldn't say, okay, my utilities are this, my mortgage is
But would you
this.
be able to give a ballpark?
It depends how many places I go out to eat on that week. Because I don't keep
Yeah.
that. I mean,
And that works for some people. Just
yeah, and I don't get exorbitant when I go out to eat, but I enjoy doing that.
Right. And you're allowed to do that.
Yeah,
You know, it's one of those things where when you budget, it's just as long as you know where it's going.
Yeah.
So I got the end of mine. It's like, all right, I spend this much money, and a bunch went to restaurants. That's fine because you know where it went.
Yeah. No.
It's the people who get to the end of the month. It's like, oh, geez, I have no idea.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No. I mean, I can
living
tell
within
you
your
where
means.
it's going. I just can't
Yeah.
tell you exactly how much.
You're not going to the log cabin twice a week.
No.
It's
A couple beers at the VFW. There's $6 shot, and that's
Right.
Yeah. Stokesay Castle for Reading. Huh?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, if you would have a client, let's say, hypothetically speaking, you have a client like Elon Musk. He's choosing you as his financial advisor.
Thank you, Elon.
So now you got $1 billion to help him invest. Would you reap much more commission working for that than a middle of the road guy? Like, is your commission based on how much
If I was Elon's financial advisor,
you wouldn't have to work anymore?
I wouldn't have to work anymore. No,
Okay,
he would be my only
Then
client.
the older client.
He would be my only client, and I would have a boat next to his boat.
The more wealthy clients you have, the better your bottom line is going to be.
Yeah.
Because they have more money for you to play with, or invest with, or whatever.
Play is a bad word.
Yeah,
Yeah, right. Good point.
Yeah. But in the same idea, it's like if I can help more moderately people, you kind of get the same thing.
Right. Because then you have the time to have more clients than just one big client.
Yeah, I would rather end up having close to 200 or so clients instead of having
One giant.
one giant client.
Because
Where's the fun in that? You know, you're helping one person, but
right.
you're helping.
But and then the other issue is, okay, this is pretty much, I'm making good money, but if that one client decides to can you, then you got nothing.
Yeah.
Then you got nothing.
There's no more boat.
There's no more boat.
Interesting though, because I mean, you get a client and they're younger, and you help them build their wealth. You know, in 10, 20 years,
they might be
you're
the next
making
Elon.
even more money because you made them more money. They're happy. They tell people. You know.
Yep.
I see. That's a good.
Yeah. It's something to build on.
Yeah.
You know.
And you're young enough to still build.
Yeah.
Oh my.
That's exactly right. Yeah. And it's one of those things like you need as much money as you need.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know?
And
that's a huge point. That's how do you want to live? Like it. There's so many people I know that continue to work and I gotta make money. I gotta make money.
I gotta pay for my
money.
toys.
Yeah. Like what's the end game? Like,
Right.
How much money do you need to live? I mean, you really
honestly, I always thought, and I always thought if I won the lotto or whatever, if I became somehow overnight a multi-millionaire, I honestly don't know what I would do different.
I think I would spend less time doing the things I don't want to do.
Well, I would probably give up.
that's
I would
pretty much
probably
it,
give
though,
up my Dentech part-time job.
Probably. Yep.
I would do that. But other than that, I don't know that I would. I don't know that I would want to live anywhere else. I would probably get a different vehicle because I did like my Jeep, so I would probably get another Jeep.
I would probably get a Jeep too.
But not. I wouldn't need the top of the line brand new Jeep. I would just get a Jeep. And other than that, I think I would do exactly what I do now.
That's the thing. Like money can tend to complicate people's
Yeah.
lives. You know.
Yeah.
So me and my wife have this thing where we're aiming to have a simple life, not an easy life, but a simple life.
Right. That's
You know?
my wife and I are like that too. Pretty simple.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we like to go camping, so we have a moderate camper,
Mm-hmm.
you know, one that we really enjoy and we use, and you know, our vehicles are not brand new,
Right.
but we're very happy with them, and yeah, it's how do you want to live?
Yeah. And once in a while you get bored, and it's okay to be bored.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
That's
Just
all
because you're bored doesn't mean you throw
That's-
a bunch of money at a car and
No.
go on a trip. you know?
No, honestly, what
Bored.
I think the neatest
Yeah.
thing about being super rich, I honestly think every time I went into a restaurant,
Uh-huh.
I would just say, okay, everybody in here, it's on my tab.
Yeah.
I would get
Yeah.
the biggest kick out of that.
Yeah.
Like, I just think that would be the neatest thing to.
I heard something a while, I forget how long, but they said money doesn't buy happiness. And they're like, but money can buy happiness if you give it away.
No,
Yeah,
right.
no, it would.
Now,
that
makes
would,
it
that
real
would be.
good.
No, it really. I think that would be the neatest thing of being super rich.
Yeah.
Is just stumbling into a place, dressed like this,
Yeah.
in my little old Jeep, walking in and just saying, okay, everybody that's here, it's on me, and
Yeah.
walking back out. I think that would be the coolest
That would
thing.
be such a cool move.
No, well, I just think that would be the most rewarding thing
Yeah.
you could do.
Absolutely.
That's,
we were at a local restaurant this week, my wife and I, and there was a gentleman there, and he was a little loud, but he was telling a story from way back.
Okay.
And it was a fun story. It was pretty cool. But the guy he was with, who's no longer living, but did a lot of partying.
Okay.
He walked into this bar way back in the 70s, and he's like, I want $100 worth of the shots.
Mm.
oh, okay, yeah.
I want 100 of them. Everybody that walked in, here, Merry Christmas. It was around Christmas time.
And that,
Merry
and that
Christmas.
is
Merry
the neatest
Christmas.
thing. That's
Here's a shot for
I
you.
just
Here's a
think
shot
that
for you.
is
It was an example. This guy did it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
How cool was that? He probably blew all his money, he said. But
Well, but he,
He
if
enjoyed
he won
it.
that money,
But
it
you know,
really
he
wasn't.
built the core memory that day.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
he's passed, and this guy's sitting in a bar still talking about it.
Exactly.
In a good way. Like, it's
Yeah.
a good memory of this guy.
Yeah. That's a cool way to like do
It
things.
is.
You know?
Yeah. So
All
what does
right.
your wife do? Is she...
She is a part-time physical therapist at the Reading Hospital, and she's a stretch and Reiki therapist at the Wave Collective.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. In medical
That's
field
like-
and...
Holistic.
Holistic.
That's another thing that always interested me.
Yeah,
is-
it's very cool.
and that, I mean, you always think about back between the martial arts and the holistic healing and that, like almost like that show Kung Fu.
Okay.
Like a monk teaching
Yeah.
how to heal yourself and also defend yourself and be able to go into a trance and I mean all that sort of all in the same kind of realm basically. So she does that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But I guess it was pre-pandemic. She kind of made a shift because she was full-time at the hospital working there, but the place is just sucking the soul out of her. You know?
Yeah.
That's a tough gig.
Yeah,
She was
oh,
sort of
yeah.
primarily on the trauma floor, so
Yeah.
she was seeing a whole bunch of problem people.
Yeah.
So
Repeat customers,
yeah,
as we call them.
but the new place, the Wave Collective, it's a really cool place. It's really nice.
Did she, with her knowledge, help your shoulders?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Back
Well, I
when
mean, that was good for you. You didn't have to pay
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's the thing. It took a while for me to listen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I get that.
The advice she was giving me, she gave me for years and years on how to fix my body.
Yeah,
You know, it's like-
and you're
I just
much
didn't-
like I would have. I'm fine. I know
yeah,
what
it's
I'm
like,
doing.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
You know, I still lift it every day. And
Yeah.
rugby. I was like, I'm fine. This is just the way my body is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm used to not being able to turn, you know?
Yeah.
I look
Just-
behind me, I just go like this.
That's how I
My
am
wife's
now.
like, that's a problem. That's not supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's good. She was able to help you. I keep trying to talk Penny into going to massage school.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
can
yeah.
practice on me.
yeah.
No, that's not happening. Not happening. Yeah. Yeah, that's I'm sure, a tough business.
Now, does she get into like herbal medicine as well, or is it more just stretching?
She does some, like, essential oils.
Okay.
Yep. Because they help with, like, I don't know the science behind it because she did all the research
Right,
and
right.
just tested on me. But when she does this stuff on me, it feels really great.
Okay.
Because like I was back when I was studying pretty heavily for the exams and whatnot. she did a lot of Reiki therapy on me just because it helped calm me down. You know, it was stressful.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Trying to pack all that information in there.
Yeah. At my age, unless I would, and you have a passion for it. Unless I have a passion for something, I have no desire to study a book for something I have no interest in, just to get a degree or But I'm beyond that. But you have a passion for it, so it wasn't like it was the worst thing in the world.
It wasn't the worst thing in the world, but it was
work.
It was very dry.
Yeah.
It was definitely work.
That's good to have the support.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's the thing. I probably wouldn't have left teaching if she wasn't on board with it. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's good. Yeah.
Yeah, she's good people. I'll keep her.
You keep her.
I'll keep her as long as she has.
Better because going to a therapist is going to cost. All right. Do you have any website info or anything if somebody wants to get a hold of you?
My business page is on Facebook.
Okay.
First Trust Financial has their own website.
Okay.
Yeah, but if anyone's willing to donate to the Veterans Coalition of Pennsylvania, that'd be great. They don't take used items. It's all new stuff from veterans.
Right.
So hand-me-down stuff you can throw to Goodwill. Right. But if you want to help the Veterans Coalition, new items of clothing and toiletries, that kind of stuff.
Okay. All righty.
Pretty good.
I guess we'll wrap it up there.
Yeah.
Cool.
And thanks for coming in, Ross.
Thanks for coming in.
It was fun.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, we haven't had a whole lot of guests here lately.
No, and
in fact, this year we have like
that's
3.
new.
No, it is. It is.
Very interesting.
I'll have to be back, you know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There is no rule on how many times you can do on a podcast. In fact, there's no rules whatsoever to do with a podcast. It's good being. That's the thing of owning your own stuff. You make the rules.
Yes.
It's good to be king.
You make the decisions.
And you don't have to worry about employees. You don't have to worry about customers really, especially here, because whoever watches, who don't. But that's the way it goes.
And this can go on the road.
Yeah,
So you could have it wherever you wanted to.
Nice.
Yeah. If you want to do it at somewhere else sometime, we can do it at Black Forest. We can do it at the movie theater.
And we can do it at your, the training facility where you
the jiu-jitsu
around.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah, because all we need is this equipment.
That's
Yeah.
it.
All right, guys, we'll see you later.